Getting the conversation started in the Low Country, this is Fresh Brewed. Today, our guests are Eugene Marks and Jocelyn Evans. Eugene is developing the Guilford Place Cottages at Stock Farm. We'll find out from him why Old Town Bluffton is the perfect spot for this unique community. Our good friend Jocelyn shares with us the importance of empathy and listening in relationships. Hello, greetings, and welcome to Fresh Brewed. I'm Ed McCullough. Our guest is Eugene Marks. Eugene is a Bluffton resident and a real estate investor investing in the new project right down the block here, the Guilford Cottages in the heart of Old Town Bluffton. Eugene, welcome to the show.
It's nice to be here, Ed. Thanks for having me.
I hear the accent. You're not from around here. You're a come here.
No.
You're not a been here. Where'd you come from?
We split our time between Bluffton and Connecticut. I grew up in New York and lived throughout the country and overseas for many years. But this is our cozy home now.
This is your cozy home, and what was it about? And I'm going to focus on not just the Low Country or the Southeast, but we're going Old Town Bluffton specifically, that drew you here as an investor that wants to?
Well, we used to own property in a second home in Naples, Florida, and Florida just was a little bit too hot and a little bit too isolated. It's Florida,
yeah.
Exactly. And so we started looking for property around here, and we ended up in Palmetto Bluff, and I developed a few projects in Palmetto Bluff.
And when you say projects, were they residential or commercial or
residential?
Both? Residential.
Yeah, some residential homes.
Built some houses.
Built some houses, sold them, and spending time in the area from Palmetto Bluff, getting a sense of Old Town Bluffton, my interest shifted from Palmetto Bluff, which is wonderful, beautiful. But my wife and my wife's a historian and genealogist, so she loves history as I do. We got a sense that Old Town Bluffton just is a fun, culturally rich, personality-rich place with opportunities for real estate investment, and so we focused our energy. I focused my energy here.
So you grew up in New York. I grew up in New York. You're in Old Town. I'm in Old Town. Where did you grow up in New York? In the city, or?
I was born in the Bronx and then moved around New York City.
I went to school at Fordham. We'll have to talk about that off camera.
Wonderful. That's right. Some stories, but not for the camera.
But here's the thing, okay? There is something about growing up in New York. You grow up in a neighborhood, it's walkable, it's mixed use, it's vital. The neighbors know the neighbors. You encounter people on the street. And if you come down to the Southeast, instead of God bless the gated communities, but if you want something of that same vibrant community feel, you got to go to Old Town.
Well, that's it. I mean, you've captured it wonderfully. It's a place where you really live and you experience where you're living, and you know your neighbors and you care a little bit more about your neighbors. And with that package of an interesting community and a close community, there's great value of time and relationships that, you know, around the world these days is
hard
diminishing.
to find.
It's hard to find.
But you find it in Old Town. So you're putting the footprint down at the Guilford. Guilford is the name of the street, right?
Yes.
Intersects 46, right down the block here. We're filming above the corner perk, by the way, for those who can't tell where we are in the roasting room. And you're right down the block. How many cottages?
Well, I acquired about 3 acres of land. There's 6 residential lots in the back for cute cottages. They'll be 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, 2,200 square feet. And then there's 6 additional mixed-use lots right on 46 that will develop in a second or third phase over time.
So when you say mixed use, light commercial on the ground floor and maybe some condos or apartments on the upstairs.
Perfect. I may even have you
whatever I just
when
said.
we put them up, you got it made.
No, that's so funny. Going back to New York, you know, my best friend I lived in a little Archie Bunker house in Queens, and my best friend lived around the corner in the apartment upstairs from Frankie the Butcher.
And that's what we want to try and recreate there. We have a blank canvas, a wonderful street with all the character, values, and uniqueness of Old Town. And in this blank canvas, we can create these cottages that look like they've been there forever and create that community living in the front of the houses, not in the back, and have that streetscape where the golf carts go by and they continue down here to Old Town. And over time, once we build that out and we conceptualize what to do on the front lots, we'll continue that theme with a little bit more diverse architecture and economics.
I'm going to jump to looking like it's been here forever. I'm going to jump to my good friend Tom Bannock of Timberstone, that I call him the tree stump. He is passionate. I tell him he has sap in his veins instead of blood. He is passionate about old wood, and you are constructing these cottages out of reclaimed lumber.
Yes, we're the first 2 cottages we're doing. The first one is going to be a red reclaimed barnwood, beautiful barnwood, and cottage 4 is going to have a grayish tint from different projects that Tom has sourced and taken down, whether it be a barn, a cotton mill, an old warehouse.
Insane asylum. I heard he got some. We're not going to talk about it. He's not using any.
Not
of
on
that
mine. Not on mine. That's going to see ghosts coming out. But you know, when you have a project, you can do all the right things, but still come out with a product that doesn't have that same look and feel. And so we have this open canvas. We have wonderful architecture from Pierce Scott, and we want to complete that with wood that has a history and a feel and a smell and a look that you'll see and say, wow, have these been here a long time? Are these new? And yeah, the structures are new, and the foundation and the studs and the electric and the plumbing is all code wonderful, but it's wrapped in this history and this look and feel that's very unique.
And you know what I just thought of? Tom, the reclaimed lumber guy, he's from Brooklyn. I don't know if you knew that. But
I didn't know that.
He grew up in Brooklyn. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that something? And will he tell you a story about the origin, like where the barn was deconstructed? And when he does, will you believe him, or will you think he made it up?
No, he's got pictures and he's got videos and he's got character and values, so I wouldn't expect anything else. But that's the other thing. The people who live in these will say, hey, this was once a barn up in somewhere, or it was a cotton mill, and you'll see it. And the craftsmen that put this together too, it isn't just, you know, putting something together, it's about creating something that has a unique aspect to it. And Tom sourcing the materials in a wonderful way, and Pierce doing the plans in a wonderful way, and Dave Abney, who's the builder, who's actually, he and his team are going to swing the hammers and everything. It's a good collection of people who are all here.
It's a great team.
It's a great team.
Well, and the unifying theme, which we can expand to Old Town as a whole, is it's everybody drank the same Kool-Aid. They believe in the same value of community and character and substance. I mean, character, you look at the old wood, you walk in the door, instant character. You can't not have character with the old wood in the structure.
Yes, you just know it. You can tell the difference between hardy, which is wonderful application, hardy and certain windows, and these will have metal roofs, and they'll be closer to the street, so the community and the feel and the smell and is just going to be there, and they'll look wonderful for 20 or 30 years, where other construction sometimes looks a little tired after 5 or 6 years, and that's not bad. It's just a different product and a different application.
Yeah, all power be to hardy plank, but it doesn't have the same soul as a 100-year-old barnwood that was taken apart by an Amish guy in Ohio.
Yep, and the people who buy these cottages, we're going to give them something that has some pictures and a little book that says this is different, where it came from, and it's going to show Tom and his people and the craftsmen, and we hope that they live in there and say, we're in a great community, we're loved, we love, these cottages are wonderful, and where else would you want to be?
Nowhere else. Eugene, that went so fast. It must have been fun. We have been speaking with Eugene Marks. Eugene is a Bluffton resident and a real estate investor, investing in the Guilford Cottages at Stock Farm in Old Town Bluffton. I'm Ed McCullough. We'll be right back after these messages. Hello, greetings, and welcome to Fresh Brewed. I'm Ed McCullough. Our guest is Jocelyn Evans, psychotherapist, Island Psychiatry and Psychotherapy, located at 19 Bow Circle, Hilton Head Island, Suite A.
Suite A, thank you.
So nice to have you here, Jocelyn.
Ed, it's nice to be here.
And we happen to be filming in Old Town Bluffton. So you ventured over the bridge to come to Old Town.
It was very scary. Considering I have no sense of direction. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
Is 46 the same as Burnt Church?
No, 2 different roads, but you got here anyway.
I did. I even got here early.
So do we use that as a metaphor for how you approach your clients where they are on the threshold of perhaps engaging in some future path that they're
Start where they
uncertain
are.
about? You start where they are.
Just like you started where I was and you sent me directions because you knew that I was directionally challenged.
I didn't just send you directions,
You
I sent
sent
you
me-
a map.
And Ed, I had the map. I had it speaking to me. It all worked.
But there is no map for your clients.
No.
So in lieu of a map, you start where they are.
Start where they are.
So start with somebody. Does somebody just pop into mind where you started where they were,
Right.
and you work with them, and they really got to a beautiful new place?
I like to think that they
They all do.
all do.
Every single one of them.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you. I believe that anyone who has the courage to come in has my respect. They're coming in. Courage to come in
not
and
just 'cause there
self-examine.
might be like a stigma or anything like that, but courage because they're willing to step up and take a look at themselves and say, hey, I really want to
It's
go
amazing.
to a better place
That's
in
exactly
my life.
right. Yeah.
It takes courage.
I think that takes tremendous courage. It's the healthy people that go to therapy. If I have a couple,
I haven't been to therapy. What are
I
you
know,
saying?
Ed, I have some issues with that. I've been trying to engage you in therapy for a long time, but
I've been trying to get you to climb a tree for a long
I'm
time.
ready to climb a tree. Come on. I used to climb
So
one.
the healthy people are the ones who come in because they're the ones that want to self-examine, and they're the ones that want to go to a better place.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that are smart enough to know that if they hang out with you, they'll get a boost in that direction.
Or if I don't really do much of anything except listen and maybe a little direction, but they're the ones who have the courage to self-examine, reflect on past issues, reflect on current issues, and I'm a big believer in family of origin.
What does that mean?
That's where it all starts.
I'm Irish Catholic. I'm in
That sends, I actually love Irish Catholic men. Can I tell
Really?
you why?
trouble. Sure.
Because I grew up in Boston and they always feel guilty. I used to always say, why do you feel guilty? And they'd say, because I'm Catholic. I'm like, that's the cutest thing. I was Unitarian. I'm like, I don't believe in guilt. But yeah,
So, but you said you don't do anything, but you also said you listen. And
Yes.
there's listening and then there's listening. How do you listen?
I'm actually fairly interactive because I believe in short-term therapy. I was trained in short-term therapy. I don't want to keep people coming year after year after year. When
Short term, 3 to 6 months?
yeah,
6 months, something like that?
Yeah.
Move to a good new place?
sometimes all it takes is one session.
Where are you as the listener in relationship to the client?
What do you mean?
Emotionally, psychologically, intellectually? You're just listening, you're a clean slate, or you're relating?
This sounds
you're
strange.
supporting, you're connecting?
Try to connect.
Connect.
I think, and this may sound a little strange, but I believe, I'm a big believer in love, okay?
You
And
said,
I
you,
think-
you like cringed when you
No,
said that.
because
You
it
spit
sounds
out.
so queer. I am a believer in love, and I believe that if I can find something lovable about each client, which I always have been able to do, except for one guy, years ago.
What was his name?
I can't. He's in Greenville, but that's the only one. There's always something lovable, and if you can approach them, knowing that they have that special quality, it allows you to understand why they act in ways that may not be in their best interest or may be off-putting to others. But you know they have that special quality.
And
So you
that
want to enhance
speaks
that.
to a measure of intuition, a measure
Yes.
of insight, a measure of an ability.
Empathy.
Empathy.
Yeah.
Where's that come from?
Wow. You really?
Yeah, go ahead, just spit it out, baby.
I think my dad had unbelievable empathy.
Really?
Yeah, he was amazing.
And
He
so-
was the kind of guy, he had 4 daughters, and we couldn't go to bed angry. So he would stay up till 2 in the morning, and my poor mom, she'd go, can I go to bed now, Phil? I'm tired. He'd say, you can go, Alice. But he would make us all sit if one girl was having an issue, and we would talk it out until nobody could go to bed angry. My dad was the king of family therapy.
So is that something for you as a gift that's genetic?
Genetic.
But also perhaps
But I was exposed
developed,
to it.
obviously.
Yes, I was
and
exposed
valued.
to it. Very much so.
So when you listen to your clients, like from the get-go with the intuition, you zero in on perhaps something quote-unquote lovable about them?
Well, and I can usually ascertain that in 2 or 3 sessions. But, as I said, I start out starting where they are.
And they may have an awareness of their relative lovability or not.
Right. Most don't.
Most don't. They don't, or if they do, they don't believe it.
They don't believe it, exactly.
But if you listen to them
I can find it.
and you can honor it
Yes,
and reflect it back to them,
exactly.
and then 6 months later they believe it.
Hopefully.
Definitely. It happens to all of them. Didn't you say that?
All of them, right. Except one guy, right? That guy in Greenville.
What was his name?
Ed? No, that's the only one I can think of.
So you love what you do.
I can't imagine doing anything other than this at all. I used to think when I was younger, my mother said, "You failed at everything, Jocelyn, except life." And I'm like, well, what else is there? She said, "You love people more than anyone I have ever met, and you care about them." And that's just something that I've always been told. So I thought, okay, I don't want to be a psychotherapist because my mom says I do that every day.
So you have a degree in theater. Do you just act like you know what you're doing?
That's exactly right. That's my undergraduate degree. I just pretend.
But sometimes with your clients, and we only have about a minute left, you can encourage them to so-called fake it till they make it? Perhaps
It's sort of
try
like,
on the idea of lovability
Like
in a
Chekhov.
certain respect?
like Chekhov. You know, if you do the external motions, you'll start to feel it internally. You know, Chekhov versus Stanislavski in their acting,
Yeah.
there are 2 different methods.
Yeah.
If you do the Chekhov method and you do the physical sensations, you start to feel it inside. So if you start to act like you're confident, you'll start to feel it.
Okay, I feel very confident about that, and we're out of time, but
Are you kidding?
no, I know it goes by so fast. Just
No
like when
way.
you're. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
by. We have been speaking with Jocelyn Evans, psychotherapist. She's with Island Psychiatry and Psychotherapy, 19 Bow Circle. I'm Ed McCullough. This is Fresh Brewed. Watch all our episodes at FreshBrewedTV.com.